It's coming. The most talked about holiday event of 2017-2018. I'm talking about Danger Woman, Holiday Hero. Join the karaoke crime fighter on her various good deeds and heroic works. For more information about this event, go to www.reverbnation.com/dangerwoman, and you'll be brought up to date on her upcoming appearances. Even her upcoming appearance for her Big 5-0 at DragonCon 2018. And if you want Danger Woman to perform for you this holiday season, please leave your name, telephone number with area code, and your email, and I'll make sure you get a prompt response. Until we meet again on the net, I am Danger Woman, and I am almost dead. Season's greetings, fans.
Hey, Danger Woman, this is Lee. Call me back as soon as you can. We need to talk about something very important. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Lee Satterfield Show. It's good to have you here. We're very grateful to have you here. This is our debut show. We don't know what we're doing here. So, forgive us if we suck. We're probably going to suck. We're learning as we go. But, for years, people have been twisting my arm to get me to do this. So I'm finally doing it. And if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. It's whatever. But we'll learn as we go, and we'll get better. With me always is Brett. And Brett's helping me do this as we go along. Anyways, a long story short, I was in a band called Tree Fort. We toured the U.S. for years. I'm still kind of doing it, still kind of doing music. I own and operate Swayze's Venue in Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. I've been doing that for 15 years. And I write freelance for whatever, and I write for Stomp and Stammer, the only Atlanta rock and roll magazine that's worth the shit. Anyways, with me always is Brett, and something happened this last week. Brett saved someone's life.
Well, I don't know if I would say that exactly, but I was on Atlanta Road just outside of Marietta, heading north, and this guy, I saw him wandering across the street, this older guy, and he came up to my window on the passenger side of the car, and I had my window down a little bit, and he had this panicked look in his face, and he said, help me, call 911, please, I've been shot, help. And I was just shocked and like, what? And he looked at me again and was like, please, call 911, I've been shot. And then he kept walking, and I saw his back. He was wearing a white T-shirt, and his back was covered in blood. Yeah, all the way, just covered completely in blood. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, my God. And so I grabbed my phone. I drove about maybe a quarter of a block down to get to pull over on the side of the road. And he had walked across the street, finished walking across the street. He walked over 4 lanes of traffic.
Everyone ignored him. Nobody.
Everyone ignored him, as far as I know. Yeah, I mean, he just walked up to my car. I didn't, I don't know if anyone else called 911 or not, but he approached my car for some reason, and so he walked across the other lane of the road. It's a 4-lane road, and he went to the right side of the road, heading north, and where I was, and so I'm on the phone with 911. I'm just, they asked me to describe him. I described what he looked like. And he got to my car, like I said, just a tiny bit down the road, and just after a few seconds. And then he got to my car, outside my car, and then he fell down. He collapsed. And then he started shaking violently, and it was really, really scary. And I told that to the 911 operator, and the lady said, you need to put something on the wound. Do you have anything to cover the wound? And I was like, oh my God, and so I thought for a second, and I was wearing a pullover. I ripped my pullover. I got out of the car. I ripped my pullover off, and as soon as I got out of the car, I did like a 360 and looked around, because it occurred to me like, well, if this guy was shot, I don't know if someone would have chased him across 4 lanes of traffic, but from the direction he was heading. But I looked around to make sure I didn't see anyone else with a gun, and then had my pullover in my hands, and I was about 2 feet away from him, and I'm thinking, oh my God, do I? And you know me, Lee, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe here, but I mean, I could see the gunshot like through like his right shoulder blade toward his spine, like up there.
Oh wow!
And so I was like, oh my God, and I had my sweatshirt in my hand. I'm about 2 feet away from him, and I was just about to get ready to bend down and put my sweatshirt on top of him, my pullover on top of him. And the first cop came, and they came so fast. I'm telling you, the Smyrna police, they came so quickly. So the one cop came, he just ran out of the car very quickly and had some plastic thing in his hand. He put it on top. He pulled the guy's shirt up, put it on top of the wound, and looked at me, and he said, "You're the one who called 911?" I said, "Yes, sir." And then he said, "Can I have your pullover?" So I tossed it to him. He put it on top of the guy, and the guy was shaking really, really violently. And the cop said, what happened? What happened? He said, "I've been shot." And he's like, "I know, but what did you see? What happened? What happened?" And he said, "I don't know. I don't know who did it. I got shot in my back. I don't know. And he said, I was just walking. And he said, "What's your name?" And the guy told him his first name. And then he lost consciousness. Oh, and the shaking diminished. He was still shaking, but not as much. And then at that time, about that time, another 5 cops or more were there. I don't know. It all happened so quickly. And a cop came from behind me right when I saw that he had stopped talking and appeared to lose consciousness. And the cop was shaking him. He's like, "Stay with me. You got to stay with me. Stay with me now. Tell me who did it. What happened?" And this cop came from behind me, and he said, "What's your name? Or were you the one who called 911?" I said, "Yes." He asked me what I saw. I told him the same thing I just told you. I told him the direction the guy was walking from the street. Another 2 cops, he was like, "That way." And then another 2 cops jumped in the car and just ran off really fast,
Uh-huh.
And then this cop was like, "Okay, what's your name? What's your number? Let me see your driver's license." And he's like, "All right, you can go." and so I just stood there like, do I go? And because he just left me right away and walked towards the guy, trying to help the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many cops there were there at that time, like another 5 or so. I don't know. And then an ambulance was already pulling up. I mean, it all happened like within 1 minute. It was so fast. And so thank God those cops know what they're doing.
There.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a hot spot. But I really have to move. But I don't know what happened since then. But yeah, I stood there when the guy said I could leave. He just walked away from me immediately. And I'm just standing there by myself by my car like, do I just go? So I just got in my car. And I started driving home, and I looked online that night, and I've looked online every day since. This just happened November 1st, and what's today, the 5th and 6th, something like that. And so I looked online every day, and I even seen spreadsheets of things online. I said gun violence, and I mean I must have seen 25 shootings in the Atlanta area since then. And none of them are this one. So I don't know if that means the guy's alive. I'm praying he is. I hope so. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. And so I was thinking maybe I should call the cops tomorrow or something. Well, I don't know if they can give me that information. Just let me know if the guy's alive. I know nothing. That's all I've seen. So I have no clue about what happened since.
You just want to know if you're a hero or not.
Well, I don't care about that. I just hope he's alive. No, I don't care about that at all. I'm just.
He must be.
I mean, this is some random guy getting shot. And when you see, I've been very anti-gun before this, and scared of these things, as I think any normal person should be. You need to have a healthy fear of things that can kill you, And
do you think that maybe it was some kind of gang initiation, just kill some random homeless man or something?
I honestly would have no idea. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know if he was homeless. I mean, he did appear a little disheveled, but I think I would appear disheveled if I was shot in the back and there was blood pouring out of my back too, like that. I mean, I truly don't know. It was just some guy that approached me. I really don't know. I just happened to be the one who had his window down and he saw me.
Was the sweatshirt that you gave to them that got messed up, was that a good sweatshirt?
It was actually the first day I ever wore it. I just bought it the previous week. It was the first time I wore it.
What sweatshirt was it?
It was just a gray and blue pullover,
Where'd you get it?
I got it at Costco, which is like Dante's Inferno to me. I hate that place so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why'd you go there?
Well, because I have to buy diapers and things now, and
now that you're
apparently
a family
diapers.
man?
That's right. I'm a family man now, and I'm a lucky man. And
Now
so,
that you're in a mixed race family and you have a Mexican wife.
all races must wear diapers when they're babies.
I know,
my
but,
friend.
I know, but
Yeah,
you go to Costco, do you feel extra white?
No, no. I feel extra claustrophobic and extra anxiety because it's
Even
just
though
too
it's
many
so big?
people. It's way too big, and there's way too many people, and everything is just too big, and I can't stand it. It's too. It creates way too much paranoia.
Do you get the free samples?
No, I just want to get in and out as fast as humanly possible.
I hate Costco too.
I hate it too, but apparently it's the cheapest place to buy things like that, so that's where I have to go for diapers
Do you
and
feel
things.
Clark smart for going to Costco?
Clark Smart? I don't even know what you mean.
That's awesome.
What's Clark Smart?
Like Clark Howard.
Oh, I know of him and I know what he does, but yeah, I'm sure he would say shop there, right?
That's awesome that you don't really know about that.
Oh, I don't. Is it that
yeah,
awesome?
that's really cool.
Okay.
I'm glad that you don't know about
Is
that.
it awesome that I live in the
That
dark?
makes me respect you more as a friend.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that nothing I have done or doing nothing gives you more respect. That makes it easier to gain your respect.
People that know less sometimes make me like them more.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if this guy's alive or not, but
I don't know.
You're a hero to me.
Well, I appreciate that.
Doing the
Thank
right
you.
thing makes you a hero.
Well,
Brett.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Everyone else was ignoring this guy. He got shot. Everyone's just like, what are they doing? Listening to like books on tape?
Listening to Clark Howard, apparently. I don't know.
He's not on then.
Oh, okay.
What time was it?
About 4:30.
Sean Hannity. They listen to Sean Hannity.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, they probably wouldn't
They
have
listen
gone to
Sean
stop him
Hannity.
anyway if they listened to Sean
Hannity talk about how guns are good.
Yeah. So, yeah, they would have just been, oh, look at that. Okay. Let's keep our guns. Yay.
Guns are okay. They serve their purpose, but not for getting involved in a gang, like your gang initiation, shoot some homeless man.
And I should say, I don't know if this guy is homeless. I don't know if it was a random shooting. I don't know if it was a shooting that was, appropriate. I have no idea. I don't know anything. All I know is this guy approached me. I mean, that's all I know.
I don't think it was an appropriate shooting.
Well, I mean, if he was robbing somebody, he was going to rape somebody or kill somebody, I mean, then, yeah, it's appropriate if you shoot somebody then,
I guess, but he still got away pretty well.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, he was able to walk across 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, for a while. That's
actually, when you think of it, that's pretty impressive to be shot in the back.
Yeah.
And then walk across 4 lanes of traffic and survive that too. I mean,
so if
busy time of day.
If it was an appropriate shooting, he got away pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you helped him. So if he was an abuser, you're an abuser apologist.
Oh my God.
You just helped like Weinstein. You just helped.
Good Lord.
Whatever. You just helped.
Don't mention
Kevin Spacey, the homeless Kevin Spacey.
Don't mention Woody Allen though, because I love him too much.
I know you do love Woody Allen.
I do love Woody Allen.
So you're an abuser apologist, Brett. No longer a hero. You were a hero, and now you're not.
This is Danger Woman calling. I'm here to return my call, Lee. Please give me a call. Thank you. Goodbye.
So, my name's Lee Satterfield, and, I'm doing this podcast because so many people wanted me to podcast, and I'm finally doing it. And I've been sick for about 2 years, or more than 2 years now. And what started the sickness was I collapsed. I fell down in my bathroom, and I was getting ready to go work a show at Swayze's that night. My wife had come home from working a dog grooming job at PetSmart. That's where she works. And I was lying down in the bathroom, unconscious on the floor. She calls my mother. My mother comes over. They're both freaking out. They call 911. An ambulance takes me to the hospital. That's the story. I didn't experience this story because I was, almost dead. Anyways, that was before Halloween. So I missed Halloween. I woke up maybe 20 some odd days later in Keystone Hospital in Marietta, Georgia, and my wife, not my wife, but my mom, is squeezing my hand, and I'm starting to wake up, and she says, Lee, you're okay. You've been in a coma for 20 days. You're alive. You're in Keystone Hospital. It's going to be okay. And it was just a weird thing. I'm tied to a bed. My mouth is dry. I'm on a ventilator. There's like crap shoved up my nose. And
any recollection of what it, like you just kind of like? Do you have any recollection of what it like? You just
yeah, that's kind of what it was like. It was like a dream.
Later,
I had
did you
dreams
feel a
and
passage
stuff.
of time at all?
You know, weird dreams, but you just kind of wake up. I had all kinds of weird dreams. I had the weirdest dream I had was Drake, the rapper Drake. He wanted to have my baby, like not like me impregnating him and him having my baby, but like Drake was guaranteed my firstborn from some weird kind of like Hollywood elitist cult or something. And the other. Yeah, and like that's when I woke up.
You were a hip-hop
that's when I woke
fan.
up. Like I was like so pissed and denied Drake my baby. So that's when it all that's when I woke up. It's weird that you remember that, but Drake wanted my baby. He said it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, Lee. You know, like basically I was gonna die so Drake could have this baby. And that's when I woke up, and that's when I saw my mom. So, but basically, all my organs shut down.
Wow.
They had to take basically all my small intestines out of my body, and they took all my small intestines out of my body, and I only have enough intestines now to live on. Basically, what happened to my intestines is either a heart arrhythmia shot down to my intestines and caused a blood clot, or somehow my intestines got wadded up somehow and it caused gangrene in my intestines, and my intestines just kind of rotted. And I felt sick all summer long, but the doctors couldn't figure it out. I was like, I have diabetes or something. I'm drinking a lot and I'm peeing a lot and I'm sweating a lot. I don't feel right.
Actually, I remember you walking around Swayze's with a big thing. I remember that actually. I remember you walking around Swayze's with a big thing of water or something, and tell me that you were very dehydrated all the time.
And we had gone to Disney World. We had gone to Disney World right before this, and it was like the worst vacation ever. I mean, I love Disney World. It's my favorite place, my happy place, and it just wasn't right. I just didn't have a good time. It wasn't a good vacation. I mean, everything went well. Everything should have gone great, but I was just miserable. I just wasn't happy.
Well, you weren't feeling well.
Yeah, exactly. And the doctors, I mean, I hate to call a doctor stupid, but the doctors were so dumb that, they kind of said, well, you're depressed. And I've been dealing with depression and bipolar for years. And I'm like, I'm not depressed. I'm feeling like the least depressed I've felt in a long time. This is not depression. But, I went to the cycles anyway. I listened to the doctors, and I went and got reevaluated again. And they're like, no, you're not depressed. You're doing good. I'm not depressed. So there's something in me that was wrong. And it wasn't until I was unconscious and I was on the table when every doctor had neglected me and basically said I was going to die, that one doctor, a doctor named Patel, some doctor named Dr. Patel, how many of those are there? He's like, he wouldn't give up on me. He basically put a needle into my gut and found feces. And he's like, yeah, that's what I thought. There's a gut that's, rotten. He's got gangrene in his intestines. And then they did scans on it and found out that's what the problem was. So it was,
my God. So
they took him out, and luckily, I just got lucky. I'm not carrying around like a colonoscopy bag or any kind of bag. I'm just a normal person, and I have a rare disease, short gut syndrome or short bowel syndrome, and it affects your digestive system, but I've learned to change my diet and everything else. But the scary part of the whole thing was all my organs shut down. So the pancreas shuts down, the liver shuts down, the kidneys shut down. So they're all like freaking out, like, you're probably not going to make it. You're probably not going to make it. They tell you that, you're probably not going to make it. But everything worked out. Everything came back alive. And, a lot of the doctors called me like their miracle patient. Yeah. But, I was very positive about it. I just didn't give up hope the whole time. I was very positive about it. And I didn't think that I was going to die. I was very strong throughout the whole process. And I just didn't think I was going to die. I fought through the whole thing. And, I spent a total of 64 days in the ICU.
I mean, I knew it was long. I didn't know it was that long. I don't recall it being that long.
It was a long time, and I had a lot of setbacks. I got sepsis a few times and everything else. So, I remember the first day when it was all clear, and I was going to go to the neuro rehab unit to learn to like try to stand and walk again because I was so weak. And by the way, everything's shutting down. It had messed my legs up. I couldn't walk not because of the atrophy of being in the bed. That's what everybody says. Well, you've been laying in the bed so long, you can't walk. That's not why. I couldn't walk because all the nerves had messed up. I had so much nerve damage. So anyway, I had to go to the neuro rehab center at the hospital. And the first day I got there, I got sent back to ICU because I got sepsis again.
Yeah, I remember that.
That sucked. So it was like starting all over again. But a total of 64 days in ICU. I missed Halloween. I missed Thanksgiving. I missed Christmas. But I got back home New Year's Day. And I remember as soon as I got home, I watched King of the Hill on DVD. And it was fun. And I remember the good things in the hospital. I remember messing with the nurses and playing pranks on them and stuff. And I'm really flexible. And so they would send flexible with my body, I mean. And they would send people in to dress you. And they would be like astonished with me. Like, how did you get dressed? Someone in your condition isn't supposed to dress themselves. Like, well, I did. I didn't want someone to dress me. I didn't want you to look at my penis and touch my balls, So like, I joke around with them like, do you want to touch my balls? You can. I mean, that's your job, right? Did you get that job because you like touching people's balls? You can touch my balls, but I just like to dress myself, So, but I'm so flexible, man. My friends that know me know that I can put both my legs behind my head. So like I could put the socks on and my shoes on, and I could do it all by myself because I'm so flexible. If it weren't for my flexibility, I would probably be in horrible shape and I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But the hospital really screwed up along the way. In wound care, they left gauze pads inside me in this hospital journey. So, 6 months later when I'm trying to learn to walk, everything goes to crap. And it's almost like starting over. I get real sick again, and I get fevers and everything else. And the wound isn't healing the way it should. It should already been healed, but it wasn't healed. So they have to go in and debride the wound, and that's when they find these gauze pads that are inside me. And that's what causes the first case of MRSA staph infection. So I'm in the hospital again for 2 weeks. And you've had MRSA.
Yeah, it was a good time. God, it was so scary and horrible. I can't even imagine everything you're saying is so scary and just unfathomable for anyone to have to go through. And I, as your friend and, during that time, it was hard to see you going through it. It's still hard to see you going through all that stuff. And it is amazing all that that you've gone through, how painful and how horrible it all seems. But then to see that, you really do have a good attitude about it, which I don't know if I would have such a good attitude. I mean, you're so optimistic, like you said, and it's true. And I can tell you for sure too that, when it first happened, during that first week and stuff, just the outpouring of love from you from everywhere was just all over the place. So know that you're loved and cared about and respected and not just for who you are, but for and what you've done for people and what you've done and with your life. So
all I can say is thanks for the outpouring of love. I never got to see it.
Yeah,
because I was in a coma.
Yeah, I wish you did. I remember I went to your first gig back actually, and you were at Swayze's there. And you had your acoustic guitar, singing in the wheelchair, and on the floor, and everyone was around you, and you're like, I wrote this song. I started writing this song about, I don't know, a year ago, and I just finished it because I was in a coma for, however many days or, and I don't know, that was pretty funny. And then you went straight into it and it was hysterical, and your sense of humor was intact right away too. And, that was just a memorable time. I remember that, and just being so impressed by you and your attitude. And, I just want to continue to see you, get better and get better and get back to 100% and on your feet, and, not have your health inhibit you from the life you want to lead.
Yeah, I couldn't talk at first too. I was really worried about that. And like they would do these tests and shove things way down your throat and up your nose, but they said everything was good there. So that would come back. So I just came back talking a little raspier, I guess, which works for me, I guess. I could be like Tom Waits eventually or something.
You've got the cool rasp.
But so that works. And then but after that first MRSA thing, because they left the pads inside me, then it was fine. I got better. I could walk around a lot better, but this big ass hernia started on one side of me.
Oh yeah.
And it became a big issue. It made the digestive issues a lot worse. I was just because of digestion, it made it real hard to eat. Everything I ate made me feel really sick. It was like constant diarrhea. Not that anyone wants to hear about that, but like always had diarrhea. Everything I ate was diarrhea. And lots of throwing up. And then this giant hernia, which looked ridiculous. It was
God, if we haven't lost people on this podcast yet.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, but this is what's happened. Everyone asks like, "What's the story?" Well, it's a long story, and eventually, this year, May 31st, 2017, they decide they're going to get rid of the hernia. So they do, but I'm allergic to all these antibiotics. So they decide to get rid of it without antibiotics. And then, look what happens. You get MRSA again, and then I spend all of June in the hospital because of MRSA that won't go away. And then July, I get sent home, but I'm bedridden all July because I have to take pretty intense antibiotics, Zybox. I wish no one ever has to take Zybox. Zybox is the worst antibiotic. It's like almost like a cancer drug. It makes you feel like a chemo drug. It makes you feel like awful. It's supposed to make you better, but it makes you feel sick. That's a side effect of it. It makes you. It's like the Charlie Brown drug.
So it's killing all the things inside you, and also
it also kills you.
Yeah.
It makes you depressed. It makes you not want to get out of bed. It makes you lethargic. It makes you like apathetic. It makes you not want to do anything. So all of July, that's how it was, and then most of August was that way. And then I had to go back to the hospital in August to zap another one of these fluid buildups inside of me, and that's more MRSA. So what they do is they put a drain in your gut, and then that drain drains out the fluid that's left in there, all that infected fluid.
Good
and
God.
Then the same thing happened in September. They had to put more drains in. At one time, I had like 5 different drains hanging out of my stomach. It looked like something weird. I don't know, like predator's hair.
I can't even imagine all this stuff. Like it's just painful to listen to. To know that you had to go through it is just torture.
And it's like, you can't really go out in public because of the MRSA. It might spread around. It might get worse. And then, like, how do you go out in public without looking funny? You have, like, 5 drains connected to your belly that just hang down. Like, what the hell are those things? And then you're collecting, like, weird-looking blood and fluid and, scab boogers.
They don't want you to trip.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Explode everything
they
everywhere.
Look really weird, but, yeah. I mean, and now, that's over with. I'm just dealing with like pain management, and hopefully the sickness is over. Just dealing with some pain management, and the pain's awful. The pain is incredibly awful, and I'm going back to therapy now again. Not just regular therapy that you would go to if you were rehabbing an injury from a sport or you hurt yourself. This is intense therapy, neurotherapy, dealing with all the nerves and everything else.
Yeah.
So hopefully that makes me feel better, and hopefully I'm going to a pain management specialist soon, so hopefully they can get to the bottom of this incisional and nerve pain in my abdomen. So that's sort of what happened and the future of it. So that's about it. and I hope for the best.
Yeah, we all do, man. We're all pulling for you and praying for you, and we love you. We're here for you.
Back.
Hey, yes. Hey, Danger Woman. Good to speak to you.
Thank you.
Yes. What's been going on?
Well, I'm glad that you took the time of your busy schedule to call me. Even though I'm supposed to be eating, but I always take the time out of my busy schedule to talk to a representative of the music industry who takes the time out of his busy schedule to communicate with me.
Well, I don't know that I'm that much of a, representative of the music industry. I'm not that important, really. Thank you, though, Danger Woman.
You're welcome. Can I call you back? I gotta go finish my dinner.
Okay. Or I'll call you back. How much time you need?
Would 30 minutes be reasonable?
I'll call you back in 30 minutes, but you got to tell me what you're eating.
Well, we're having a hamburger helper stroganoff.
With the potatoes or the noodles?
It's got noodles, and we even mixed in some cauliflower.
Oh, that's good. That sounds good. Okay, I'll call you back in 30.
Bye.
Bye.
Howdy.
Hey, is this Deadpool in a banana costume?
Last time I checked, yeah.
Hey, let's talk about some wrestling.
Sounds good.
Cool. In general, what's your feeling right now in the state of wrestling?
I honestly think that wrestling, as far as the performance is concerned, it's the best it's ever been, in my opinion. As far as in-ring performance, I mean, there's guys and girls doing stuff that nobody's ever done before, and I feel like that everybody's a little more worried about being healthy and being in shape and so on and so forth. A lot of, from interviews and stuff that I've listened to and watched, there's a lot of people that live a way cleaner life than they used to back in the day because they're worried about performing at the utmost capacity, and it shows.
I would agree with that, but all those like internet dorks and stuff on message boards and whatever, they would probably disagree with you. What would you say to them?
Well, I tell people this all the time, that wrestling is it's probably the most split up fandom that there is, in my opinion, because I feel like that there's people that are so passionate about either side. Like there's people that think that I don't know, let's say Kenny Omega is the greatest wrestler who's ever been, and you can't tell them any different. At the same time, there's somebody that thinks that Kenny Omega is the worst thing that's ever happened to wrestling, and you can't tell them any different. And that's why I like wrestling, because I feel like the fans are so passionate, whether they're annoying or not.
What is your opinion on Kenny Omega?
I love Kenny Omega. I feel like he's got a really great mind for the business. I hate to use that term, but yeah, I feel like this is what he was born to do, I guess, as far as how well he performs in the ring, how well he is on the mic. He's just a good, great performer and wrestler, and he's not only done great things for New Japan by putting them worldwide, but he's done great things for wrestling because there's competition again, in my opinion.
Yes, but then why do people get so like? Why do people have that Ring of Honor, New Japan kind of like? Why do they smash them together so much?
Because a Ring of Honor in New Japan? Oh, you mean like Indies versus WWE? I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying, like the internet dorks on the dirt sheets and stuff. I don't know. I guess it just goes back to them being so passionate about, because it is a very dramatic medium of entertainment. Like it's you have to have a special taste
Yeah,
really
yeah.
be into
I get New Japan versus WWE as far as like a platform, like that's competition.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything else versus WWE being competition.
No, definitely not. And definitely not TNA.
But definitely not even Ring of Honor. I don't see it. Where are the production values?
Yeah,
Wow! They have the Bullet Club and they have Cody Rhodes. A big deal. It was taped a month ago, and it looks like the Power Hour from my childhood on WCW TBS.
Yeah, people think that. I guess they focus in, like I said before, that people are like, oh, well, the wrestling's great. But yeah, to an extent. I mean, Ring of Honor can be a little spot festy sometimes. So I mean, that's definitely amazing to see, but at the same time, it's just kind of, I forgot, I think I was listening to the Asian Christian podcast the other day, and they were talking about how there's too many guys and girls that show all their stuff in one match. And once you see it all, the next time you see the match and they start doing the same stuff again, you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people do in Ring of Honor, is they're kind of just like, because, I mean, to kind of play devil's advocate, it's like they don't see the same crowds over and over. It's an indie thing. So you kind of have to do all your stuff every match. And it's the double-edged sword because, yeah, that crowd that's never seen you before is going to be impressed. But the people that are watching, the tape shows, like you said a month ago, they're seeing the same thing over and over. And if they're not super into you, then they're not going to like you and not stick with you.
I mean, it makes perfect sense for like Cody Rhodes to do it because he's going to build himself up and come back to WWE. But it doesn't make sense for everybody else.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of guys that have left WWE and made a name for themselves and came back. Like that's a really great thing to do. But if you don't ever have a name, you can't really wrestle the way that they are because they already had a name, may not be a very big one, but they had one from being in WWE. So when they leave and go down to the indies, they can pretty much do whatever they want because they've already got that in the back of people's brains that, oh, they're a WWE guy, even though they're not anymore.
So what's the point of being like this wrestling contrarian? Like, why I hate WWE so much, I'm going to be this wrestling contrarian. Is it like I'm the king of the dorks?
I guess. I mean, that's the way things have been forever, I guess.
How does it get you laid?
I mean, there's definitely people that will have sex with people like that. They have kids, and then they raise them, and they turn into the same type people. It's just, I don't know. They're there. That's why this earth is overpopulated with idiots, I guess.
Like furries or the furries, the conventions or something?
Yeah, that's definitely. I think that's one place for sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on, let's talk about the futurists, the future of wrestling, the best of breed of wrestling, besides New Japan. Unless you want to comment on New Japan, do you like anything going on in New Japan right now? What are your favorites in New Japan?
Well, I mean, one big thing that just happened in New Japan is Chris Jericho just challenged Kenny Omega to a match at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, so that's definitely a huge thing that's going to happen, and I think it's...
Do you think it will happen, though? Because Kenny Omega, the last thing he said was like, I'm not going to give you any more free press.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're building. It's definitely going to happen. I mean, Chris Jericho wouldn't show his face if he wasn't going to wrestle, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And I heard Dave Meltzer, which, whatever, I heard him say something about that Chris Jericho was doing this because he wants to be remembered as that guy that did it all or whatever. And I completely disagree with that. I think that Chris Jericho, the reason he has wrestled the guys he's wrestled and been in programs with the guys he's wrestled in the past, however many years in this current comeback is because he knows that he has legend status and he's using it to build up guys that he likes because he knows that him wrestling Kenny Omega is going to make Kenny Omega way bigger than he already was. Like, it's not really going to do anything for Chris Jericho except being like, oh yeah, Jericho went back to New Japan. He's a virtuoso. But everybody else is going to be like, oh man, Kenny Omega wrestled Chris Jericho. And, you know, he's doing it because he's building smaller guys up. And that's...
I mean, yeah. I mean, Kenny Omega is not a household name.
No.
He could be as good as he is, but nobody knows who he is besides the dorks.
Yeah. And this is going to skyrocket Kenny Omega and New Japan up. I mean, not anywhere near the WWE level, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
I mean, you have your first tier of, like, casual wrestler fans and people they know.
Yeah.
Like, you have The Rock and Cena, Stone Cold, the Hulk Hogan's of the world, right? But then you have your second tier, and I mean, Chris Jericho's definitely on top of that, right?
Definitely.
So, I mean, all this does is give Kenny Omega the rub.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it's smart.
And Dave Meltzer is saying that Jericho's doing it for himself. It's just...
Well, Dave Meltzer's been a jackass for, what, 40 years?
Yeah. That's why I said whatever, because I think I just overheard somebody talking about it in one of the wrestling news wrap-up YouTube channels I watch or something. But
I mean, with Dave Meltzer, it's like flipping a coin, and it's like, oh, okay, well, it's like maybe 50%'s right, but maybe not. It's more like playing roulette, where it could end up on the zeros, and you're not. It's like less than 50% right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, so with that being said, let's go to WWE. Let's just talk about Raw first.
Okay.
Who do you like on Raw?
Let's see. Let's think about who's on Raw. Well, I mean, I like the Shield. I like that they kind of put the Shield back together. It was
kinda.
I mean, Roman's gone right now.
I have a disease. Yeah. Do you believe that, or is that just a work?
Oh, well, I mean, him and Bray are both out, so I don't think they would put them both out at the same time.
Where did they get a disease from?
A Brazil tour that they did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I mean, it definitely is fishy, but I don't know, man. Them completely just stripping 2 big matches on TLC, I don't know if they would do something that dicey.
Okay.
And big ups to AJ Styles. He seems like he's a new John Cena, in my opinion.
So what are they going to do with AJ?
Well, he has a title match tonight against Jinder Mahal on SmackDown.
Uh-huh.
So I think they might put the belt on him. To face Lesnar at Survivor Series, and that's crazy. That's going to be crazy.
You think they're going to do that for real instead of having Jinder be the man?
Yeah. I mean, it's...
After all this work with Jinder?
Yeah, I think they are. Because here's the thing. I feel like Survivor Series is going to be a very, very, very one-off special occasion type thing. There's not going to be any stories built. It's just going to be like, once-in-a-lifetime matches spectacular. And then all the stories are going to get tied up real nicely, and they're just going to move on to the next thing.
Do you think that AJ drops the belt quickly afterwards? Back?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that they really want Jinder to be like the guy for a while, like his Monster Hill with the belt?
I mean, he's a good heel. People boo him, and that's what you're supposed to get when you're a heel.
Okay, but I feel like we're digressing. Let's go back to Raw.
Okay.
So besides the Shield and AJ Styles, which we really digress from, who do you like on Raw?
I really like Sheamus and Cesaro. I think them becoming a tag team was the best thing for both of their careers, for sure, because they were kind of lost in limbo. Because they both, when they came in, I think they were both Triple H guys, so they both got kind of which doesn't matter, but they're good. So they both got kind of a real big push as soon as they got there, and then after that, it was kind of like, okay, now what? So them doing their best of 7 series and then ultimately becoming tag team partners has been one of my favorite things that's happened in years. So I like them.
They got better as they went along.
Definitely, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was kind of a meta storyline because it was them feeling each other out and learning how each other is in matches, and also feeling out what they wanted to do with the company. So it was a really cool thing, I thought.
What about the women?
I love Alexa Bliss.
Me too.
She's great. She's the fact that I think she's the only woman to be both shows champion so far.
I believe
since
so.
the draft, and that's awesome. That means everything that the company does that for her. So I like Sasha Banks. I mean, but she's kind of in the limbo stage right now. So is Bayley because she got injured, and the main roster crowd didn't really get on board with her right away like they thought, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like Sasha Banks. I can never figure out. I can't get behind her. You know.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a good gimmick, I guess. But
No.
she's just,
No. Boss is not a gimmick. It's a word.
I mean, I think so. She's just...
Jesus, bad. She looks like a mole going around the ring. It's like she can't see. Like, buy some contacts or something.
But she just needs to be put into something good, or actually, I don't know, step up and be like, hey, I want to work with this person and do something. I don't know.
And Nia Jax, it seems like she's about to have a heart attack every match.
I don't think Nia Jax is around anymore. I think she left, maybe. Or she got released.
Seems like I saw her last night. She was hurt for a while. I think I saw her last night.
Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
But she's, like, really out of shape.
Yeah. It just seems like she doesn't really care. I don't really care for her too much because I don't know, it seems like that she kind of lives off of her Samoan lineage. Like, she's just like,
I'm a cousin.
yeah, I'll be okay no matter what I do, so I'm just going to take my time. And I don't know, she doesn't listen, I guess, or she doesn't really know what she's doing. I don't know, I'm just always like, okay.
It seems like the crowd kind of likes her, but I don't understand, like, you know, if she goes in one of those gauntlet matches or a later match, she's like she's dying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She's not going to have longevity, I don't think, because you can tell when she gets up and she puts her hand on her knee, and she's not even in her 30s yet. Like, that's not good.
To me, it seems like the Raw women's side has more talent, but they just suck compared to the SmackDown side.
Yeah.
Anybody on Raw in general that you feel is just like really underrated or not being used?
Well, before we go to that, I mean, there's The Miz and Braun Strowman, too. They're great.
Oh, they're the best. Or The Miz to Raj in general. I mean, The Miz to Raj. Yes.
Shit. Thank the wrestling gods that those guys found something to do.
Yes. Yes. They ruled. I mean, the Miz is probably my favorite on Raw.
Yeah, Miz is great. He's almost to that status to where he can do whatever he wants, I think.
The best talker on Raw by a long shot. Great worker too.
For sure. Yeah, I've always thought that Miz. Well, speaking of underrated, I feel like his wrestling has always been underrated because he works smart and he works safe. I don't think he's ever been seriously injured, and he's never seriously injured somebody.
Well, what's his name? Bitchy Alberto Del Rio used to always complain about The Miz.
Yeah, well, Alberto Del Rio is whatever. I think the fact that he's been suspended and released so much shows that maybe he's not the easiest to work with.
Maybe he's the one hurting himself.
Yeah, that's my opinion, though. But Braun is... I love what they're doing with Braun. He's great. It's like
past couple matches and things they've done with him have been perfect, in my opinion.
It's good to see him do something with a big guy every once in a while, you know?
Yeah. And even though it's like super cheesy, like the trash stuff, like he went away in the trash truck and came back in a different one. It was awesome.
And the fans like it too. It's stupid. It's like suspension of disbelief, you know?
Yes, that's what I was saying. Wrestling, it's so dramatic and silly sometimes.
And that's what it's
great.
supposed to be. And that's the kind of
Exactly.
crap you're not going to see in like Ring of Honor and stuff like that because they can't afford a trash truck.
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah. And I feel like that, going back to New Japan for a second, I feel like New Japan does that to an extent. They have a little bit of suspend disbelief, disconnect stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have characters like Atto and people like that are like supernatural and they're really weird, and because I don't know whether it's their culture or their fans, but
they believe it.
Yeah, they believe that stuff.
It's real.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they still believe it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they didn't break it yet. They didn't break character yet. You know.
Yep.
Anyway, is there anybody you despise on Raw, or you just think sucks?
I don't think he sucks necessarily, but I don't like anything that they're doing with Jason Jordan at all.
Agreed.
He's just like, poor kid. Like, that they were like, hey, you're going to be Critical's son. He was like, okay, yeah. Not knowing that it was just a terrible idea.
Yeah, that was the worst storyline ever. It sucks so bad.
Man.
I would have much rather been like Sandman's son.
Right? Yeah. At least they do something with you. Oh man! But other than that, other than the women we talked about, the cruiserweights are. I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, they're good. They're all really good wrestlers, and it's entertaining. But it's just like I feel like they shot themselves in the foot as soon as they put them on that show. Like, they don't do the ropes and stuff anymore, I don't think, which is a step in the right direction.
I thought so too, but as soon as they did that, then they kind of took away the cruiserweights too. So it was kind of a
Yeah, it's and Neville leaving was just a huge blow to them.
You mean Austin Aries?
Well, him too.
Oh,
they both left.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Yep.
I mean,
man.
Enzo being down there it's cool sometimes. I mean, him being like a heel and being like an outsider kind of gets people more interested in it, but it's not enough yet.
Well, we haven't given enough time, but
yeah.
They still got some good people in there they don't use. I mean, when it started off, it was Brian Kendrick, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff was cool, but it was in the honeymoon stage for sure. And then it kind of, like, the Neville stuff was great, but I feel like people had already started to fall off.
It was interesting. There was a time when they made it interesting without Aries and Neville, but then they made it all Aries and Neville, and then
Yep.
It broke off.
And now it's just all Enzo and Kalisto, and
it's almost like they made it like the Netflix series Glow.
Yeah, exactly.
With men. Anyways, let's
they
talk
were
about.
Just like, these are the only two that matter. Everybody else is just whatever.
It's almost like a soap opera. Yeah, with Kalisto and Enzo. Anyway, let's talk about SmackDown. Who do you like over there?
Oh man, everyone.
Well, who do you not like? Who do you not like over there?
Who do I not like? Man, that's a tough one. I mean, I feel like here's how I feel, and it's very telling on the way that they show their champions off. Raw, I honestly 100% forgot that Brock Lesnar was the champion on Raw until about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Raw format is very much telling of that. It's very drama-driven and showman-driven, and it's not really about wrestling as much. SmackDown is way more about wrestling. Like, I know who every champion is. The championships are defended all the time. The champions are always in matches.
But having said that, the stories are good too.
They are, yeah.
It's like a reality-driven storyline, though.
Yeah, it's more wrestling-centric and stuff like that.
It just makes sense. The writers and producers on SmackDown just know what they're doing.
Yep. And that's why it's hard for me to say. I mean, I guess some of the tag team division is kind of it's starting to make strides in the right direction now, but it was kind of like
it used to suck. It used to suck, and now that it's better, it's like now they're the best.
Yep.
And Raw tried to take all the talent away from SmackDown, and now SmackDown's even better again. You know?
Well, it's funny. I mean, it may just be because he's AJ Styles, but it shows you how good SmackDown is by the fact that Bray Wyatt couldn't wrestle Finn Balor, so they got AJ Styles to wrestle Finn Balor, a SmackDown guy, on the Raw show. So
I don't think that SmackDown's good just because they have AJ Styles. I think this SmackDown's good because they have a good team behind it. Also, I think 2 hours is good. 3 hours is so boring.
Yep.
Also, I think Monday night is more like they try to be entertainment based versus
that's what I was saying.
2 hours of SmackDown's more like, you know, it's a classic wrestling show, and it ends up being more entertaining. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, but I mean, who do you like? Who do you dislike on SmackDown?
I really like what they're doing with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens right now. That whole thing with Sami, you know, interfering in the Hell in the Cell and turning heel. That was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just happy they finally are giving Sami Zayn something to do.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't put it past that he was just like, hey, I got an idea. Let me go out there and just interfere in this match, and we'll go from there.
Well, sometimes that's what you got to do. If they're not going to use you and do anything with you, that's what you got to do.
I mean, Triple H said it best, and I use this in my real life sometimes. It's easier to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yep.
So and I feel like there's a lot of wrestlers that don't. There's not really anywhere else to go, I guess. So everybody's just really comfortable and scared to kind of take a chance because they don't want to get fired, because where are they going to go after that? So it's tough, and I don't blame most of them for not really trying to grab that brass ring or whatever the hell you want to call it. But sometimes you got to. You just got to be like, I know my character. I know where it's going. I'm going to start doing stuff and see what happens. And
seems to be the problem Dolph Ziggler's always had.
Yeah.
but I like what he's doing now.
Yeah, it's getting somewhere for sure. It's tough because I feel like that he's so far down when it comes to people getting behind him that he's got to do something really, you know, out there or something to kind of break out.
Yeah, what could he do? I don't know. It's like he's trying so hard, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
He's he's the best. I would say right now he and Miz are the best two talkers. I mean, he on SmackDown and Miz on Raw.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, when can Dolph Ziggler get the respect he deserves?
But I think Dolph he's got a spot though. I mean, he's the carpenter spot right now. He's helping build people up. He's helping to build Rude's name a little bit, which is good. Which I don't know why they're making him. I mean, that's something I don't like that they're doing. Like Rude is face. I don't really like that.
That's it's just because the crowd's behind Rude. That's the only reason. I don't know. I don't know. But Dolph should be a top guy. He should be the top heel of the company. I mean, besides Mahal, who people hate for obvious reasons because they're racist. And he's like, and that's what he says to everybody. He's like, "You hate me because you're racist," and it's awesome. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But
I love Shinsuke Nakamura, but he's another one that's kind of, I don't really like what they're doing, and I feel like he hasn't really found his stride yet.
yeah,
And I feel like that maybe after AJ gets the belt off of Jinder and then loses it back to him, maybe he might lose it because of Shinsuke or something like that. Maybe they'll start building that. And I feel like that AJ could be what gets Shinsuke, on his stride, because they have a history, first of all.
okay.
And second of all, AJ he wrestles anyone and they just instantly become better. So
Anyone you particularly dislike on SmackDown?
See, that's the other thing too, is I feel like that the guys and the girls that don't really know what they are doing or have a spot, if they don't really showcase them as much, I feel like Raw kind of just pushes people on stage and they're like, have fun. But SmackDown is more like Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, their little tag teams they're doing now. It's cool. It's not really getting anywhere yet, but they're not on the show that much.
Yeah.
So I feel like the SmackDown is way smarter about that than Raw. Raw is just kind of like, fuck it.
So what do you think going into Survivor Series? What do you predict?
What do I think is going to happen?
Like in general, what matches are we looking at? What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, I think that AJ is going to have the belt and wrestle Lesnar, so that's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Do they have? I'm trying to remember all the people that they've announced for the Survivor Series match. I know that they have a to be announced spot on the SmackDown side, but I know that Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle are on the teams, so we could see them wrestle again.
Okay.
That's going to be cool. Yeah. I think, this is a long shot, but maybe to be announced on SmackDown's Daniel Bryan.
To actually wrestle?
Maybe. Yeah.
You think he's been cleared to wrestle?
Probably.
There was a lot of talk about him going back to wrestle in the Indies.
Yeah.
Do you
think he talked about it a lot when he was on Agent Christian's podcast?
But do you think that that's a work at all? That maybe he's going to come back to WWE and wrestle?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they're kind of laying the groundwork and setting up some rumors. Because I totally feel like WWE does that all the time. They have their own little dirt sheet trolls that get on there and they're like, hey, I heard this, guys. And then they just let it.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But I can't stand Daniel Bryan as the general manager or whatever.
Yeah,
he sucks.
Kind of like, he just doesn't really have a thing at all. And he's not on there enough.
Yeah,
to build a thing.
I think they keep him off there on purpose because, like, when they have Shane on there, the crowd goes wild. When they have Daniel on there, it's like they kind of like, meow.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hey, this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's awful. He's dreadful. He's no good. He was awesome in the ring. He was one of my favorites. But him as the general manager is just,
yeah, it's not turning out to what they thought, I guess.
Yeah, so I hope he can get back to wrestling without hurting himself.
Yeah, and he'll definitely go on a super, part-time schedule for sure.
Yeah, but if he wrestles, it could be a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Deadpool and Banana Costume. We'll have you back again.
Woo!
Lee, how are things with you on this lovely election eve?
Yeah, they're going good. We don't have anybody on our ballots, where I live at least, but around me we do. So I didn't get to vote today. I didn't have to vote. Did you vote?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Got to do your civic duty. How was your dinner?
I'm still here.
I know you're still here. How was your dinner?
It was very filling. I needed that after a long day at the office and having to go to the doctor.
Oh gosh, what was the office? Are you working right now?
I had finished, and right now I'm reviewing my notes for Paddington Bear and the Real Life Superheroes.
Oh wow.
In case you didn't know, or haven't been keeping up because you've been medically fragile, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bond, the creator of Paddington Bear, became a victim of goodbye this past summer.
Explain to the listeners what a victim of goodbye means.
It's a polite way of saying they passed away, and I musically eulogize them.
Oh yeah. There's been a lot of victims of goodbye lately, hasn't there?
Oh, yes. But I knew that my danger sense told me that he had a final deathbed wish. He was, at the time of his passing, was planning to introduce Paddington Bear to the world of real-life superheroes. But when he passed away, before he passed away, he had a final wish to hopefully someone would tell the story, and it will be dedicated to his memory.
Okay.
I'm also real happy about my Holiday Hero campaign. This is currently going on. We got 2 dates scheduled thus far.
What do you got scheduled?
I know that on Sunday, December 17th at 11 a.m. at the Omni Hotel at 1 CNN Center in beautiful downtown Atlanta, Georgia. It's the annual luncheon for Atlanta's special citizens. And you would love to see all those kids with disabilities. See, we also are reminded of the fact that our disabled brethren are still being held as disabled prisoners of conscience. Political prisoners with disabilities who are wrongfully incarcerated without a fair trial or hearing, and even denied the right to go to school or given a substandard special education just because their only crime was a crime of genetic innocence, born with a disability. And were it not for 2 brave ladies and a kind-hearted lady lawyer, we would never have gotten our day in U.S. District Court and be found not guilty of being born with a disability and proof to Thurber Baker wrong that people with disabilities deserve to live in the community. Because locking them up isn't right.
Where's the other one?
Well, when I see my disabled brethren at the annual luncheon, I'm always reminded that even though they're still locked up this holiday season, but next year in Atlanta they will be free.
Where's the second show?
It'll be Thursday, December 21st at 5 p.m. at the Final Center Stage, 1374 West Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm hoping to become the hostess of this event, because I've had experience doing that with these nice people at Athenshaw. They're good people. They're what you call, they're based in Oregon, according to my files on them. And Ryan Kent is a good man, and he cares about the band. But most importantly, I was very honored to be the first real-life singing superheroine who's truly disabled but able to walk, to help Brian Kins understand disability sensitivity. I even did my own disability sensitivity via email with him. And he was amazed that I knew things. And the fact that I even told him that I have to forego the bonuses. You don't want the Social Security grown-ups to get mad, do you?
No.
Well,
Well,
at least I try to keep it under their strict rules.
we'll try to have a third one at Swayze's, maybe on the 23rd. We'll see.
Oh yes.
The 23rd is Festivus.
What was that?
The 23rd of December is Festivus.
Yes. What a way to end the Holiday Hero campaign.
With Festivus.
Yes. That's on Saturday, December 23rd, correct?
I believe so.
Which means I know I'm going to have to get a chaperone.
Gotta get a chaperone.
Yes.
So
And
tell
of
me.
course,
So tell me what's going on in your life. What's been going on?
well, you know this is November sweeps, and I've been working diligently on Paddington Bear and the Real Life Superheroes of Christmas to Remember.
Yeah, you told me
Which
that
is a
already.
way- Yes, but I'm also doing it as a promotional thing for the upcoming Paddington Bear 2, which is supposed to come either during the holiday season or early next year, according to my informant in the movie studios.
Did you enjoy the first movie?
What?
Did you enjoy the first Paddington movie?
Oh, yes. It was wonderful.
Did you enjoy
And
the
I
scene
love-
where Paddington filled the bathtub up too much and it went down the
It
stairs?
was so cute.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah. But at least I am looking forward to the sequel, in which I learned that his Aunt Lucy becomes a centenarian. That means you turn 100.
Oh, wow. How are the Danger Pets doing?
Well, right now, you know they have a responsibility to the feedback family.
Mm-hmm.
It's their job, to be the babysitters, to feed that little chicks off the old superhero block, feed it and feed bite.
Yeah.
Feed it's kind of cute. He always says, he calls feedback Dada. And feedback calls him Daddy. Of course, when they first learned about me, they also said Dango Woman when they mean Danger Woman.
How was your Dragon Con performance this year?
It was worth it. It was worth the effort. Even though I may have left behind my old Pikachu bag, I knew I had to do the right thing and donate the money that I earned that Saturday night to those Special Olympians here in Georgia.
Very good.
Well, it was time to, close a chapter in my life when I did this. And I just got me a new Pikachu bank to replace the one I did for the Special Olympics.
The Pikachu bank, the new one, is it exactly the same as the old one?
Well, it's much better and much more, it's beautiful.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's beautiful, just like you. Danger Woman?
I should also mention that I've been watching an interesting new show that's truly disabled but able to rock.
What is that?
If there's one TV show they watch on Monday night, I recommend The Good Doctor, which tells the story of how a young man who overcame his autism to become a great doctor and a surgeon.
Oh, okay. So we'll recommend that to everybody. Danger Woman, we got to go. It was nice talking to you. We'll talk to you next time, and I'll call you this week. Okay?
To confirm for December 23rd.
Yes, ma'am, we will.
And tell all the fans out there to eat their vegetables, say no to alcohol, drugs, tobacco, vape, and adult feelings, and stay in school and go for your diploma.
We will. Thank you, Danger Woman. It's been an honor.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
I just love...
On the line with me is Chet Darla, dog walker to the stars. He moved here from LA to Atlanta because there's so much hustle and bustle, so many movies being filmed here. And anyways, this guy has walked all kinds of celebrities' dogs. And right now, he's actually walking Lady Gaga's dog. Here he is, Chet Darla. Welcome, Chet.
Hey, Lee, this is Chet's manager. You got about 2 minutes with Chet. Hey, so thank you. It's always great to talk with anyone in my line of work.
Okay.
And, well, it's really just incredible to talk with you. And I got to be honest, I can't wait to come back.
Oh, thanks, Chet. Let's ask you a question first. What's Lady Gaga's dog like?
There's some things I can talk about and other things I'm not at liberty to say. But all I can say is that it's incredible talking to you. And I got to be honest with you. Coming back on this podcast would be like the best thing ever.
Yeah, you really didn't tell us anything, Chet. So how did you get into dog walking?
Just by walking dog. But that's about as much as I can say. I can't get into leashes, tight. It's a little tricky. So, but, my gosh, talking to you, it's made my day.
Thanks, I guess, even though we really haven't talked to each other very much. But, yeah.
Well, there's things that come out in conversations. And, we've said a lot already. And there's just so many things that I can't say.
Why can't you say things? I'm confused. What's going on?
It's just a private field.
The private field of celebrity dog walking, you mean?
Celebrity dog walking, yeah.
You have to sign. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, I really appreciate you talking with me about it. And, it's nice to spread the word. And again, I got to be honest, it's going to be fantastic when I can come back on and talk to you again.
Well, thank you. We appreciate having you and all. Is it like, do you have to sign a confidentiality agreement when you start the job?
A confidentiality agreement with, like, the person I walk the dogs for?
Yes.
That, again, that's tricky. I'm not, how do I say it? How do I say I can't say something? I just can't say it. I'm not at liberty to talk about that confidentiality agreement that I may or may not have signed. But, again, this has been I've gotten so much out of this. And, if you'll have me again, I would come back again at the drop of the hat.
Well, we'll have to have you back again, Chet Darla. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Have you ever walked? Are you trying to get into the field? Because I'm kind of trying to corner the market.
I'm not trying to get into the field, Chet.
Okay.
But
all right.
But thanks. We'll try to have you back again. Real soon.
Well,
Real
again,
soon.
Thank you, and it was incredible, and I cannot wait to come back.
Okay, Chet. Chet Darla, everyone. Thanks for coming, Chet. Bye.
Bye.
This is Lee Satterfield. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We really don't know what we're doing. We'll get better as we go along, but thanks for hanging in there. And thanks to Brett for helping me out.
Thank you.
And we'll make some more of these, hopefully a few before Christmas time. That's the goal. And thanks again. See you later.